The countdown has started to the ultimate in reality combat. Tonight, we bring you 8 of the world's deadliest fighting arts. Sumo, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Kickboxing, Shoot Fighting, Kung Fu, Karate, Taekwondo. 8 tough warriors who must face the fury of the octagon. No rounds, no time limits, no way out. One man quickly distinguished himself as the master of the octagon. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wizard, Royce Gracie. Royce defeated masters in the arts of Western boxing, shoot fighting, savate, karate, gung fu, judo, and kickboxing. In 7 grueling bare-knuckle fights to the finish, he demonstrated that, at least in his case, the martial arts truly are a matter of science over size. This 28-year-old grappling wizard has become the man to beat. Facing a field of 7 new challengers, the question tonight is, can he do it again?
Live from the Grady Cole Convention Center in beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina, this is the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Part 3. Hi everyone, my name is Brian Kilmeade. Happy to be back with you and happy to be back here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Actually, this is here for the first time. We've been in Denver for the first 2. Now, I can't explain the whole UFC down to each and every detail right now. We'll explain that along the way. Suffice it to say right now that 8 of the world's most dangerous fighters, most schooled fighters, will do battle for 2 reasons. 1, for $60,000, and number 2, to be known as the Ultimate Fighting Champion. Now, I told you I did UFC 1, right? I told you I did UFC 2. Only one other fighter, only one other broadcaster in the world can say that. And that is Jim Brown, Hall of Fame running back Jim Brown, back for UFC 3. Jim, what are your thoughts going in tonight?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pumped up tonight.
He is.
Competitor is here for one reason and one reason alone, to destroy the great Royce Gracie. That is going to be impossible because he has been working on new techniques that will make him even more dangerous. We are in for an exciting night tonight, fellas.
I've never seen Jim Brown so pumped up, and we do a radio show together, and I know that. But I want to tell you something. I hope Ben Perry doesn't feel bad because Ben was with us the last time. He wasn't with us on 1, but Ben, as a martial arts expert, famed Hollywood stuntman, what are your thoughts going in tonight to UFC 3?
You know, Royce Gracie's really becoming a household name, not just in the United States, but worldwide. And it's unbelievable, thanks to his older brother, Horion, to have the vision to bring their father, Elio's dream, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, to the United States. Brian, this event has become what we all knew that it would. The only true test in the world today for the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, we have 8 great fighters. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I can tell you where they're going to fight, and it's in the octagon. Let's take a look at the octagon. It's like no other. If you saw us in Denver, it's the same thing. We picked up the service, changed it up a little bit, and I'll tell you, this is one of the most unique things to this whole entire event. Another thing I have to tell you about are the laws of the octagon, because there are a few of them. There are no rounds. Now, Jim, why no rounds? There are one in UFC 1.
In a real fight, you don't have rounds. When you fight on the street, you have to fight. Tonight, they're going to fight just like they did in 1 and 2.
Yeah, and
no rounds.
Yeah, no rounds. I think the longest fight has been about 10, 12 minutes. Now, we're going to go take a look at the second law of the octagon, and let's take a look. No time limit. Now, no time limit kind of talks about what we just talked about now. And no one's going to say, 7 minutes. Let's go to the cards.
Don't need a time limit. Absolutely don't need a time limit. 1 bell, we're going to find out who the best guy is here.
One way to get in. That's the way both fighters will do. They'll go through the gate. That is the only way out. Here's how it'll end. The referee can stop it now. That's something new. The manager can stop it, or he can tap out 4 times. Not on the person, on the mat. Should be fun, should be exciting. Now, there's a lot to go over here. There's a bunch of different disciplines, but there's 2 distinct styles. For more on that, take a look at this.
The Ultimate Fighting Championship is the first open-style martial arts tournament of its kind in the world. After 2 competitions, 24 fighters trained in 19 different styles have battled in no-rules combat. While each fighter is trained in a unique style, the reality of the octagon tends to divide the competitors into two broad categories: punchers versus grapplers. The punchers include karate, taekwondo, gung fu, Thai and Western boxing, and others. Punchers refer not only to hand strikes, but to kicking, knee, and elbow techniques as well. The punching arts favor the martial artist gifted with superior speed, reach, and power. Using footwork and timing, the puncher takes on the enemy only when he spots an opening. The clinch is a puncher's worst nightmare because it puts an opponent right inside his defense zone. Trapped in close, the puncher finds his best techniques smothered. This leaves him vulnerable to a throw or takedown. In contrast, the grappling arts, such as judo, jiu-jitsu, sumo, sambo, and Greco-Roman wrestling, require a fighter to make quick contact with his opponent. The grappler uses leverage and body mechanics to counter his enemy's balance and strength. Takedowns, throws, choking, and joint locks are the grappler's tools. A nasty choke or joint lock puts an opponent away for good. The grappler is most vulnerable during his entry. To reach his enemy, he must put himself briefly within the puncher's most lethal range. The nature of real combat makes it impossible to call either approach a lock on victory. It's far more certain to say that the fighter trained in both strategies stands the best chance of surviving and winning in the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Well, now you heard it. Great job over there telling you what to expect tonight. Let's learn about the fighters, guys. First off, we have 8 fighters. We know Ken Shamrock, we know Royce Gracie. Let's find out how they fell out in yesterday's blind drawing to find out who will fight who and when. And first off, you see Emmanuel Yarborough, a sumo wrestler / judo, and Keith Hackney, Kempo Kung Fu. Not very interesting fight here, Jim. You were talking about this. Emmanuel Yarborough, 616 pounds.
Yes, you're actually talking about the size of a man against the quickness of another man. There'll be techniques against size and strength.
I tell you, until you see Mr. Yarborough, you're not going to believe it. Right after that, whenever that fight ends, Ken Shamrock and Chris Leininger will take to the octagon. Two great fighters. Many people, Ben, are pointing to this fight as the key fight in the whole first round.
We know about Ken Shamrock, and we know about Chris Leininger, too. He's been in Brazil training some of the Brazilian jiu-jitsu techniques, similar to the Gracie style. We'll see what happens. I think it'll be the best fight of the night.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I personally think so, too. Now, I talked to Royce Gracie earlier. He said, Brian, keep an eye on this. Roland Payne and Harold Howard, Muay Thai boxing, and Harold Howard, karate.
Big time attitude here. Mr. Payne is a Muay Thai guy. We're going to see a real action-packed thing. I think it'll go to the ground. I think Harold will take him to the mat pretty quickly.
All right, and finally closing out the first round, the man we've been talking about, the man you've been hearing about, he's become a pretty famous guy, Jim. Royce Gracie takes on Chemo. Now, it's not like we didn't have room for the last name. We would have put it in, but there is no last name when it comes to Chemo. He's from Hawaii, a bit of a question mark.
But a street fighter. A guy that's very tough. He looks great. He's 240. He's got muscles. He has an attitude. And he has one of those things in the back of his head that scares me to death.
Oh, he's got the little ponytail.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to see Chemo. He's actually a layman preacher. Did I say that right?
Yes,
a layman minister, actually.
He is. He is. He goes around the world spreading the word 6 months of the year. He's really brought it with him tonight.
All right, well, check this out. Look, you have Royce Gracie. He wins UFC 1. Royce Gracie wins UFC 2. Now, I rode over here in the limo with him. Ben, you tell me about this. I don't think I got a chance to tell you this. He is so relaxed.
It's almost like a little kid at shopping in a mall today. He's just unbelievable. He has so much confidence that there's just a total calmness in his awareness. It's really fascinating to see. Most of the other fighters are really keyed up. Actually, their managers, it seemed like, were just as keyed up as the fighters were.
And Jim,
but you know, that might not work for him because you can never tell what a fighter is going to do until he's in the ring. He can be relaxed and go in flat. So don't let that fool you guys.
We've seen Royce turn that on and off very quickly, going in and out of the ring before, so we can look to see that again tonight. He might be smiling right now, but when he gets into the ring, you'll see that face change. He'll bring that game face with him.
All right, now there's some very important people working this fight. After all, our main concern is fighters are healthy going in and fighters are healthy going out. So let's introduce you to our cut man. His name is Leon Tabbs. Now, Leon has worked many, many boxing bouts, Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali. He's proud to be here tonight. He's one of the best. He's from Philly, and that should say enough. When it comes to boxing, when it comes to cuts, Philly pretty much has a corner on that market. And finally, we're very pleased to say that fight doctor, Dr. Joseph Eswanek from the U.S. boxing team. He is the official boxing judge. I mean, official boxing doctor, and I'll tell you, he does a great job. He came in and gave a great talk to the fighters about when cuts are too bad, what to look out for, and when he will interject his opinion. But he cannot, by the way, he cannot stop this fight. That has to come from this man. His name is John McCarthy. He is the referee in 2. Big difference now. John can use his judgment and decide to stop the fight, and it will be up to him. After all, he does, in fact, have the best angle.
And they call him Big John.
Yeah, Big John. How big is he? Like 6'6", 250
He's big enough
pounds?
to be in there as the referee.
All right, now it's time to meet our fighters. I tell you, can you guys feel the spirit here in North Carolina? No knock on Denver, but there is a real electricity here, and it's for this reason. The fighters are about to start, and it's time to meet our first fighter, Emmanuel Yarborough.
Meet the proverbial immovable object, Emmanuel Yarborough. At 6'8" and 616 pounds, he is the largest professional combat athlete in the world. In 1992, he placed second in the World Sumo Championship. Emmanuel will be difficult to move around the octagon.
I'm Emmanuel Yarborough. Anybody hoping to win tonight has to come through me, and I'm running the Ultimate Fighting Championship straight back to Jersey.
And there he is, Emmanuel Yarborough.
Unbelievable, world's largest athlete.
6'8", 616 pounds, and Jim, from Rahway, New Jersey.
Unbelievable.
He is not just any sumo wrestler. After all, he took second in the 1992 World Sumo Championships. He's a big crowd favorite here.
You'd really have to bring a quick strategy into this. You don't want to get an arm lock or a foot lock. You want to choke him out if you can.
Emmanuel Yarborough now in the ring. Time to meet his opponent, and it is Keith Hackney.
Keith Hackney considers his second-degree black belt in American Kenpo Karate to be his proudest achievement. His total commitment to the arts represents more than 15 years of intensive training. Keith says the combination of continuous open-hand strikes and rapid low kicks will give him the edge in the octagon.
Hi, my name is Keith Hackney. I train in the art of Kenpo Karate, and I'm here to test my skills in the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
There's the man testing his skills, 5'9", 5'11" rather, 200 pounds, Kenpo Karate, second-degree black belt. How do you approach this guy?
This is what he's always wanted to do, he says, fight in the octagon. He's going to have quick hands and really try to hurt this guy. I look for a cut. If he doesn't cut him, Emmanuel's going to take him down and hurt him.
Yeah, he was kind of happy to get Emmanuel in the first round. Now it's time to go to the tail of the tape. Now this tail of the tape tells a great story. It's unbelievable. Now look at this, 29, 36. Look at the age. And then you look at the height. 6'8", Emmanuel Yarborough, 5'11 and a half. Now that's a big deal. What about this, Jim? Do the math. 6'16 to 200.
We don't have to look at the graphics.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible if you look at it. He's got to really reach. I don't think there'll be any head kicks unless Emmanuel's on his way down. This guy's going to keep his energy and try to use a lot of hands, I think, and really stay away from him.
And now it's time to go to the ring announcer, Rich G-Man Goin.
Semaphore Entertainment, along with Wild Promotions and Panther Productions, presents Ultimate Fighting Championship 3. Our first competitor is an American sumo wonder, the largest professional athlete in the world. He is from Rahway, New Jersey, second in the 1992 World Sumo Championships and third place at the 1990 U.S. Judo Nationals. Please welcome 6'8", 618-pound Emmanuel Yarborough. And his opponent from Roselle, Illinois, he holds the rank of second-degree black belt in American Kenpo Karate, earned after more than 15 years of training in the martial arts. 5'11", weighing 200 pounds, fighting out of the red corner, an amateur boxing record of 12-0, 11 by KO. Please welcome Keith Hackney.
Ready to take a look at it.
He's got a big mountain in front of him. Here we go, guys.
He's got to move laterally. He's got to stay away.
He does. He's got to stay away and try to hurt him.
Taylor Tooley took a beating. He lasted about 2 minutes. Against Gerard Gordeau in UFC 1. That was the last sumo guy. Emmanuel gets hit. He's down.
Here he goes. Going to a
And now he's on top and stopped. Keith is taking it back.
Got to be quick. He's got to be quick. He should get out of there. He's got to get out of the corner.
And through the other gates. The gates have broken open. That's the first time that has happened.
That's a big deal. 600 pounds.
Pushes him out of the ring.
Get it on.
That was sumo. If you think about it, Ben, that is ultimate sumo.
That was interesting. He tried to do an old type of choke with both of his fists on the inside of his neck in Yarborough. It's really interesting. It's very difficult to pull that off.
I can't emphasize this enough. Yarborough was coming with sumo and judo. And they're talking to each other inside the ring.
He has to stick and move. He has to move. Really get. He's got to cut off the ring. Yarborough has to really cut the ring off, but it's very difficult. He's such a big man.
Keith is also known for his low leg kicks. Low leg kicks.
I don't think he can hurt him with the kick. I don't think he can hurt him with the leg or anything. He has too much weight planted. I don't think he can get any leverage against it. Won't hurt him.
Finally got the leg.
Won't hurt him. Wear him down. Emmanuel.
He just gave in. Emmanuel just tapped out.
A big man like that, it's very difficult for him to be agile on the ground, as you've noticed.
Yeah. It was a series of rights and lefts, Jim, and it didn't look like anything fancy. Got him on the ground and simply beat him.
It's a matter of agility. The lack of agility nullifies all size.
Now you have to hear the official announcement. Emmanuel Yarborough gets $1,000 for his effort. Keith Hackney moves on into the semifinals where he will make at least $5,000. He advances. Keith Hackney, who is so calm, so cool, so collected, has advanced. And he beat a bigger man again. Sumo once again goes down. And I'll tell you, it looked like Emmanuel was gaining confidence as that bout was going on. He was just seemed so out of touch with being on the ground, Jim, and being out of control. It was a new environment for him. Let's go to the replay one more time of Emmanuel actually hitting the canvas. Now here they are standing straight up. Emmanuel looks very confident. It's simply a wild right. This happened very early on in the fight. Emmanuel gets hit with his first punch, goes down.
Unbelievable. Were you expecting this to happen?
No, not in the least bit. I thought I would be able to mount the offense, and just wasn't able to put it together.
You know what? It was
Never been
incredible.
hit flush before.
It's absolutely incredible. The way you sat there, you were taking it, and it was just almost like you couldn't get up.
That was part of the strategy, was to take some abuse, but you can only go but so far.
Emmanuel, you're a true champion for getting in the octagon. It was a real treat to have you here. You got a big heart. It was great seeing you fight. You're a real true asset to the art. It's great having you here.
Thank you.
Back to you, Brian. I thought Emmanuel had him over there earlier when he had him down. He really worked out. He wiggled out of it.
One thing I couldn't believe, first time we've ever seen someone go flying into the octagon wall and having a gate open up. How strong is this man, Emmanuel Yarborough? Actually, he does cut his teeth here, and he does make some news.
He's not strong enough, obviously.
All right, it's time to move on to our next match. Who will face Keith Hackney? And this is a great, great match. Time to meet a man that's been here before at UFC. He was in UFC 1. He broke his wrist in UFC 2. It kept him out. Now he's back for UFC 3. A lot of people are expecting a lot, so let's meet Ken Shamrock.
Consistently ranked the #1 shoot fighter by the Japanese Pancrase Association, Ken Shamrock is a lethal submissions fighter. After losing his semi-final match to champion Royce Gracie in the UFC 1, Ken was hungry for a rematch. His 6-foot, 210-pound frame is equally dangerous in a standing match or on the ground. Ken loves to work the leg, so keep an eye out for those joint locks.
Hi, I'm Ken Shamrock. I lost in the Ultimate Fighting Championship 1. I'm here in the Ultimate Fighting Championship 3 to redeem my performance.
Ken's a great asset to this art also. He's a great guy. He's got a great movie career ahead of him if he keeps that face.
How successful is he in Japan? We're talking about this guy's got a video game named after him.
He has his own cartoon over there. He's a legend. You walk down the street with Ken Shamrock in Japan, it's like walking down New York Street with Joe Namath or Michael Jackson.
It's very interesting. He's wearing shoes, Ben. Jim, he's wearing shoes, which means he cannot kick.
That's right.
He's telling everyone he will not kick. He wants the traction.
Well, he wants to get down on the ground anyway. He wants to get on the mat.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, let's meet his opponent, who also wouldn't mind getting on the ground. His name is Christoph Leininger.
Judo is Christoph Leininger's fighting style, and he's one of the nation's best. A second-degree black belt, Christoph is the #2 ranked 86-kilogram judoka in America. He has been the Arizona State champion more than 10 times and has been a member of the U.S. Nationals team for 10 years. 6 feet tall and 190 pounds, Christoph will be lethal in any clinching situation.
Hello, my name is Christoph Leninger. I'm a native Arizonan. I am a U.S. judo player. I'm ranked #2 in the country right now, and I'm here to win the UFC.
And if he's going to do it, he's going to have to go through Ken Shamrock. There's Christoph Leninger. Does he look focused?
Jim, I think this may be a surprise. I think it's going to go to the floor immediately because both of them want that. So we'll see what happens here because they're both agile on the floor. Ken's wearing those shoes so that he has leverage. This floor is a little bit slippery if you get moisture on your feet from perspiration. So he chose that for a reason.
Okay. Yes. Everyone was pointing to this match. These are two people that are great top and bottom fighters. Let's go to the tail of the tape on these two men. Ken Shamrock, Christoph Leninger, both are in that 30 years old, still in the prime of their lives. Height 6 foot, dead even, 215, 190 for Leninger. And then, of course, Lockford, California, Scottsdale, Arizona. Looks pretty even. What about the gi? The gi could play a key role in this fight.
It could play a key role in this fight. I think he's using it to keep any moisture off of him. He can also use it to his advantage.
Okay, for the introductions, let's go to the ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second match of the evening. Please welcome, out of the blue corner, ranked #2 in the world by Japanese Pancreas Association in the deadly art of shoot fighting. He's 30 years old, from Lockford, California, is called back to the octagon by public demand after losing an exciting semifinal match to champion Royce Gracie in the first Ultimate Fighting Championship. He is 6'2" and 210 pounds with a record of 45-5. Bring the luck of the Irish to Ken Wayne Shamrock. Shamrock.
Very popular with the crowd. He's in all the promotion.
And please welcome the second-degree black belt fighting out of the red corner in judo. He is a competition legend, a member of the U.S. national team since 1982. He has been the Arizona State champion more than 10 times, a gold medalist at both the U.S. International Open in '87 and the Coup de Paris in '83. Ranked #2 in the 86-kilogram judoka in the U.S., 34 years old, 5'10", Christoph Leninger.
That's a legitimately worn belt. He didn't wash that in Clorox and drag it behind a truck.
Yeah, this guy is very feared. He's looking forward to this. Both these men extremely intense, to say the least. This could be one of the best fights you see all night long.
You ready? Are you ready?
John McCarthy giving the final warnings.
Here goes a clinch. Here goes a clinch.
Shamrock not known as a big puncher.
He punches when he's on the ground very effectively because it'll hold you really tight. There's no space. That hand will come around and hurt you.
He took out Pat Smith with an ankle lock.
Yes, he did. Hit him a few times, too, really effectively. There won't be a lot of punches in this, I don't think. I think they're just strategizing, trying to find the right way. It's an art to shoot in on your opponent.
Here we go.
Shamrock keeping him back with the hands.
Here we go.
And look at this. He waits for him to shoot in. Shamrock on top of him. He knows so many submission holds at any moment it could be over. You got to think offense and defense.
You really do. Ken right now is in a really good position. He's going to put all of his weight on him here.
That's a Gracie position. It reminds me, it's reminiscent of a Gracie punch.
Actually,
get him to move his arm.
He's in Leninger's guard, actually. So Leninger's in a really good position right now if he could get out of this. He has more weapons to use because Ken's don't have both of his legs tied up.
Ken Shamrock extremely popular with the crowd, but taking a beating right now on the top of his head. He's going to be forced to do something.
You would think that the guy on the bottom would be the most vulnerable guy. That's true if he's in the mounted position. If he's in this position, he has a lot of leverage, actually.
It does not look like Ken has either hand. Now he has one. Now he's got two. What about that gi? It can be used for you. Nice punch to the head.
Oh, this gi, if you fight a guy without a gi, it limits about 60% of his choke.
Ken Shamrock on top without the gi. On the bottom, Christoph Leninger from Scottsdale, Arizona.
There are just several few ways to break this hole where his legs are hooked around his back.
Hey, Jim, are they jawing at each other? Can you see from your angle?
No, I don't think they're doing the jawing, big guy.
Yes, he's getting into position for headbutts, yes. And there's one back to you, he said.
This is turning into the battle we all thought it would be.
These guys don't want to fight a long time here. They want to get this over as fast as they can. There are a lot of fights left tonight.
Second bout, Ultimate Fighting Championship. First one won by Keith Hacknett. You're looking at the second one tonight. There'll be 4 elimination bouts, then move on to the semifinals.
These guys are both schooled on the ground and have spent a lot of time doing this. And this is a chess game. Use absolutely their weight against each other, and it's just a little chess game from side to side. These little punches and all aren't designed to knock anyone out. They're just designed to get the guy's leverage against them, to make him move or extend an arm so he could go for an arm lock or some other move. Here we go. He's passing the guard.
There's been some movement.
Yep. He's going for a triangle. He slipped out of the triangle. Now Ken's going for to base his leg. He's going to go for the leg instead of going for the choke right away.
Now this is reminiscent of collegiate wrestling.
Ken's in a good position here right now.
I think both men are extremely fit, so if you're thinking one's going to conk out,
yes, you don't want to be having your back exposed like that. The guy can really hurt you. You want to be on your side if you're on the bottom, and you have to be pinned in like that. You want to be on your side.
There's a little gap at the bottom of the mat between the mat and the fence. I wonder if that's going to come into play. It's easy to slip a foot back there.
It's work,
and easy to get some leverage. How disappointed is Leininger on the bottom right now?
Oh, I don't think he's disappointed. I think he's just trying a good defense to protect himself.
And there's a reversal.
Turn out of that. Watch your mat!
I tell you, this crowd here in Charlotte is simply frenzied.
Out the back door! Out the back door! Fire them up! Out the back door!
Punches are thrown and also thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead. Shamrock on top. He's in the red trunks.
Ken may go for a footlock here because the legs are open. They're not on his hips. He may grab the leg and go for a footlock. He can tell when those legs are open.
Let's get a time on this bout. Let's get a time on this bout. This is approaching one of the longest bouts we've seen here at UFC.
Ken has all the leverage in the world right now in these punches.
Nice.
He really does. Any opening.
Hey, Jim, you know, often we say it's a science, but I think toughness plays a lot of role in this fight especially. You got to be a real tough guy to take this kind of punch.
But you also have to have the technique to survive what could happen to you.
Any opening.
I think he just stopped it. He just stopped it. I believe he tapped out John McCarthy. Simply jumped right in. The winner, Ken Shamrock. We're going to get a time on that bout. Just like we thought, these two men's styles matched up perfectly. It was a chess match in many ways. Punches were thrown. You didn't see any shoulders in these punches, but 2 extremely strong men who know how to hit for a living. Christoph Leininger is laying out right now. He's going to get some help. I believe he's exhausted, number 1, and I think Shamrock's exhausted. Shamrock advances once again, Jim, just like in UFC 1, to the semifinals. A tough bout, just like Pat Smith.
Great competitor.
He's got to feel pleased. The monkey's off his back. What about the pressure of everyone pitting you against Royce Gracie in the finals before you fought one bout? He was a wanted man in that press conference.
Well, that's absolutely right. You see, this bout could have taken a lot out of him.
Yeah.
And he has another bout before he has a chance to get the Royce if everything works out right.
Look at him watching Ken Shamrock on top of Christoph Leininger. Some of the last moments of the bout. And here's another angle on Ken Shamrock. And here's the tap out. We didn't see it from this angle. Let's see it right here. McCarthy, the referee, in constant contact. That is 4 distinct times. It's over. It's over.
The referee's right on it.
It's unbelievable. Now we have Keith Hacknett in one bracket. We are set. Ken Shamrock in the other semifinal bracket. When you talk about both fighters, who do you think is more exhausted? Who put out more energy in the first fight? They were both 2 grueling fights.
They were both grueling fights. I think it's just up in the air. It depends on who gets a second win faster. Is this rest going to help? It all depends on the fighters and his adrenaline, and where he is. Absolutely.
One semifinal bracket is set. Another one has yet to be fought for. For that, let's go to Roland Payne.
A native son of Charlotte, North Carolina, Roland Payne is a Muay Thai kickboxing terror. He boasts a bare-knuckle record of 27-0, 24 by knockout. At 5'9" and 205 pounds, Roland Payne is aptly named because that's what he deals out to his opponents.
My name's Roland, and I plan on introducing my opponents to some good old local Carolina pain.
There he is, the smallest man in this competition, Roland Payne. He's the local hero from Charlotte, North Carolina. He will face a tough customer in Harold Howard, but this man is focused.
Devastating elbows and knees. He's a Muay Thai practitioner, punishing guy. Watch these inside techniques.
Muay Thai boxer, shins of steel. He says he likes getting hit. Is that possible? He likes getting hit?
Well, I think so. Once he gets tagged, I think he gets a new outfit. Jim can answer that better than I can.
Yeah, he likes getting hit.
Time to meet another man who, ironically enough, says, I like getting hit too. His name is Harold Howard.
Harold Howard has won the Canadian Heavyweight Karate Championship 3 times and the Canadian Heavyweight Jiu-Jitsu Championship twice. He holds 2nd and 3rd degree black belts in Chito-Ryu and Goju-Ryu Karate, and is also a 3rd degree in Jiu-Jitsu Kai. A skilled puncher and kicker, watch out for his standing techniques.
My name is Harold Clarence Howard. I'm representing Canada and Niagara Falls in the Ultimate Fighting Challenge. We have a saying back home that if you're coming on, come on.
And here he is. He is coming on.
That's not a put on. He means it.
Now this is a Gracie train. We're used to seeing this with Hoist Gracie, all his brothers. Harold Howard, the flamboyant one, Jim.
That's the Muhammad Ali, go crazy, professional heavyweight championship train. It has been adopted beautifully, though.
Okay. Canadian Jiu-Jitsu champion. He's got a great background in that. He's also a friend of a favorite of ours, and that is Mr. Rozier, Kevin Rozier, who was so flamboyant, so affable earlier today.
Our good friend Kevin is a good friend of ours, and just being his friend alone makes him a tough guy as far as I'm concerned.
And he's got a movie career. He's in a Kung Fu episode recently.
Yeah, he's done several things.
All right, let's go to the tail of the tape now. Let's see both these fighters, and here's Charlie, his manager, with the Canadian flag. You have Roland Payne, kickboxing against karate. 30 years old, Mr. Payne, a little bit younger, a little bit shorter too, 5'9", 6'2". Harold Howard with the advantage in weight. 1 from Charlotte, North Carolina, that's Mr. Payne. Mr. Howard from Ontario, Canada. There at 4, you saw the Canadian flag. And look at the eyes right now on Harold Howard as he returns to the match. And let's go to the octagon announcer, Rich G-Man Goins.
Ontario, Canada sends us our next competitor out of the red corner, holding multiple black belts in Chito-Ryu and Goju-Ryu Karate and Jiu-Jitsu Kai. He has twice won the Canadian World Heavyweight Jiu-Jitsu Championship, 3-time Canadian Heavyweight Karate Champion, 6'2", 230-pound Harold Howard. And please welcome out of the blue corner, 26 years old, certified in Muay Thai kickboxing through the World Headquarters Academy of Martial Arts. He holds a 3rd degree in black belt combat karate. He has a professional record of 27-0, 24 by KO, a native of Charlotte, North Carolina. Please welcome Roland Payne.
Watch for the techniques of the Muay Thai fighter to be a little more crisp on the inside. I think Harold will be a little more unorthodox. Let's check it out here.
Are you ready? Harold Howard is simply so reminiscent of John Matuzak, if you ask me. He reminds me of John Matuzak.
He favors him quite a lot.
There's the punch to the head. He's a low kicker, and he goes down. They grapple quick. What a recovery by Payne.
Yeah, he
what a
popped up
recovery.
really quick. Really came up quickly.
The bigger man is on his back right now. Roland Payne is reversed.
That was a great arm escape, elbow escape. He suplex.
And over the top, a double reverse.
Uh-oh.
Those are the shins of steel. They're going right into his ribs. And Payne is down.
Strong technique. You saw him shatter.
This was a give and take bout, and just when it looked as though Payne was getting in control, one shot.
One shot. The referee saw it.
Harold Howard advances. I think Rowan Payne is sure that he broke that bag right now, because it's amazing to have that kind of power in your forearms and in your shins when it comes to Rowan Payne. Time to look at our final bout in the quarterfinal round. This is the last of the qualifying round. Who will face Harold Howard in that punch? It'll be this man, two-time defending champion, who has to beat Chemo first. His name is Royce Gracie. Let's get an up-close look at Royce Gracie.
A fourth-degree black belt in the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Royce Gracie is the undefeated Ultimate Fighting Champion, a title which has earned him more than $110,000 in prize money. At only 176 pounds, he is again the lightest competitor in the tournament, but that hasn't stopped him so far. A master grappler, expect Royce to take his opponents to the ground, where he can apply his devastating chokes and joint locks.
Hi, I'm Royce Gracie, and I'm back to defend my title as the Ultimate Fighting Champion.
And there's the train I referred to, the Gracie train.
Horion's son leading the way. There's the Grandmaster himself, Helio Gracie, behind him. There's Helson, the older brother. All these guys are deadly. There's no question about it. The whole clan is there. Royce right there.
Royce extremely loose on the way up. I talked about it in my open.
That's a lot of family to beat, Brian.
He goes in, not only all these fighters go in representing their art and themselves. Here, he represents his family's art and himself.
That's the Royce move we see, the way he saunters across the mat. It's his unique style. He's ready to go.
Now here's a guy that's ready to meet him. His name is Chemo.
Like the biblical Samson and David before him, Chemo believes he is a warrior in the service of the Lord and has dedicated his efforts in the octagon to his faith. This third-degree black belt in the art of Taekwondo is a practicing minister who travels 6 months out of the year preaching the gospel. At 6'2" and 240 pounds, with an incredible 5% level of body fat, this phenomenally conditioned fighter plans to administer a little chemotherapy to his opponents tonight.
My name is Chemo Leopoldo. I'm originally from Hawaii. I'm fighting out of Huntington Beach, California. My purpose here is to bring the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the whole world.
Here's the Chemo.
There were two fighters back in the old days, two great champions in their own right, Howard Jackson, John Natividad. We call them swivel hips because they could stand there and hit you with a round kick or a heel kick without bending over. Chemo can do that.
And Chemo's here on the cross. Never seen anything quite like this before. Chemo is the type of fighter we understand. Is where he got his money, he got his reputation fighting in the streets, like Charles Bronson in hard times.
When I say he goes around the world 6 months of the year spreading the word, this is what I mean. He is definitely on a mission.
Royce is just fixated on Chemo as he enters the ring. Chemo, a fine physical specimen with a very distinctive tattoo.
Very, very unique individual.
He's bringing a lot of things with him.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
A lot of props.
Oh, yes, sir.
We're about to get underway with the final bout in our qualifying round. For the fighter introductions, as he makes his way into the ring, is Rich G-Man Goins.
Ladies and gentlemen, our fourth preliminary bout. Please welcome out of the red corner, a practicing minister, 26 years old. He's a native of Hawaii, preaching the gospel and perfecting the art of Taekwondo. A third-degree black belt, 6'2", 250 pounds. Please welcome Chemo. And please welcome back our 28-year-old two-time defending champion from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Fighting out of the blue corner, 6'1", 176 pounds. He has won over $110,000 with a record of 58-1. The undisputed Ultimate Fighting Champion, Royce Gracie.
Royce Gracie has a following here. Everyone knows who he is. He's done the interviews. He's got a hit video in UFC 2. And he's finally getting some of the acclaim he deserves. And they're about to mix it up now.
And he's got a lot of talent.
You won't see the intensity that came from the other fighters. You'll see a very strategic guy here.
You saw a kick by Royce. This is the longest we've seen him standing up.
He doesn't want to go to the ground. Chemo's really fighting to not go to the ground.
The strength on Chemo is incredible.
Stop
And
the
there's
fight,
the,
stop the
there's
fight,
the,
that's it, stop. Hey, go! Go!
this is the longest we've seen Royce standing up on his 2 feet.
He has great balance, Chemo has. Great balance, strong legs, very low center of gravity.
Chemo pushing out with that huge upper body. In all the bouts that Royce has had, he's only fought a total of 10 minutes, maybe closer to 11, but that's all that Royce has been in the ring. Chemo is keeping Royce on his feet. He's got to feel good about what he's done so far. Royce is 7-0 in UFC competition. He's never really been in danger.
Hey, buddy, get up!
And there's the headbutt. There's the knee to the groin. He's got to get him to the ground. He's got to knock Chemo down. And you see his dad, Helio, 82 years old, coaching him right behind him.
Right there. His strategy right now is to just hold on to him, try him up to keep him getting hit. He just doesn't want to get hurt or hit right now. Chemo's using a lot of energy to stay on his feet.
And there he is.
Here we go. Here we go.
Chemo on top.
This is okay. Royce will roll out on his side here. Royce will just use his elbows and roll out. He'll spin if he can to try to turn. Chemo's trying to get hooks into the leg so he can maintain that position.
Chemo says he's been working extensively on grappling.
Yes, he
deal with
has.
the man who's been doing it all his life. Let's see how much he can pick up.
Watch Royce just slide out of this technique.
The gi looks like it's covering his head.
Now, Chemo is holding on to Royce's left leg on the gi. That's what's keeping him from getting out of this position right now.
Royce has got a wrist. He's got the reversal. Chemo exhausted. Both men showing great endurance. Royce protecting his face with his right arm. Royce Gracie's in a battle here. There's no question about it.
Yes, he is.
He is in a battle. And his gi is virtually off.
Chemo's a very, very strong man. It's very hard to get a grip on him with his perspiration on him.
Both men from the West Coast. Chemo from Hawaii. This is the longest fight. It passes Ichihara in total length. He's grabbing the hair. That is perfectly legal. 3 minutes and 12 seconds in. Gracie on his back, but a lot of times that's his best offense.
That's fine. He's doing okay. A lot of energy. It's the most endurance I've seen out of Royce yet.
And there's the punch. Chemo's tremendous fitness is certainly helping him. I'll tell you, his hair is hurting him right now.
Yeah, it is. It gives him leverage to hold on here. It's a great fight. Just a great fight. A lot longer than I anticipated.
And the image of Helio, the master, the man who came up with Gracie Jiu-Jitsu on the apron of the ring, looking at his son, knowing he represents the legacy, the family, as well as a UFC title, two-time defending title holder. She's shouting instructions. And let's see Royce, if he start maneuvering those legs. He's been compared, Jim, in your own words, to a boa constrictor.
I think Royce's mouthpiece is out.
Royce, it looks like he's got some scrapes on
He
his
might
forehead.
go for a suplex here if he can get his weight on him. Royce should just sit down and we'll put all his weight so he can't lift him off the ground here. Yes.
And right now, the endurance factor is playing such a role. You're looking at it, 4.5 minutes. We've never seen anything like this. This is half the total he had in 2 UFC bouts.
Totally unexpected. Royce is trying to get the arm.
And look at this.
He's trying to get the arm here.
An arm lock. He's trying to get an arm lock.
He's got him. Chemo
it.
tapped out.
Chemo tapped out.
What a great fight that
What
was.
a great fight.
He won an interview. He won an interview.
And there it is.
Unbelievable.
Chemo is okay.
Unbelievable.
One of the best bouts in the history of the UFC.
The damage that was done by Royce was done when Royce was on the bottom. Extreme leverage from those punches, unexpected. What a match that was.
Out of the ring.
And right now,
Out of the ring.
Royce Gracie advances. A big question is, how much does Royce have left? What a job by Kimo. You're getting a shot of Kimo. He's exhausted. But what a tremendous effort.
Wow.
He's standing with great pride now. And Royce is injured. He's limping.
Yes, he is. What a great fight that was.
He is limping, and they didn't even shake hands at the end of the bout. There's a lot of worry in the Gracie corner. Let's go to a replay.
He has him in the arm lock. He's been trying to get it for a long time, but Kimo kept his arm bent. He couldn't get it. Every time he went for it, Kimo would bend his arm to keep and roll to the inside to keep the leverage from coming off. Royce finally locked it in, got his foot around, extended his hips. All the strength he had left, put the arm out. Kimo could barely tap. That's what he had, so little left in him, he could barely tap the mat.
Kimo went to school on Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. The things he was doing, Ben, only by listening to you talk and by watching both these tournaments as Royce limps right by this desk. We don't even attempt an interview at this point.
Wow.
He went to school on Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and I'll tell you, he has nothing to be ashamed of, but it's only one arm lock away from ending. And we just saw it. Just a moment of sloppiness, a little bit of exhaustion, and suddenly it reverses.
Absolutely. It looked like a reoccurring injury. Royce hurt his neck a few weeks right before the fight, didn't train at all because of the pain in his neck. It was really devastating. No one could roll with him, so he just took it off. So a little endurance was a factor here, but what a great fight that was.
And it's Kimo goes out in his own power. Royce with tremendous amount of help, and he is hurting.
Look at
Let's
Royce's
look at this replay.
His legs are extended. Kimo can barely tap with that one hand. It is so much. Royce finally gets the leverage on it, and I think it was because of the armband on Kimo's hand that allowed him to get that grip because of the perspiration.
What about the gi? I've never seen the gi over his head. It was actually not a weapon this time.
Not at all. That's fine. That really doesn't come into play that often, Brian.
Yeah, we do have an announcement to make. Felix Lee Mitchell will replace Keith Hackney. He is the alternate, Felix Lee Mitchell is. And Keith Hackney, although he defeated Emmanuel Yarborough, and you're seeing a shot of the crowd, he got hurt, and he cannot go on. We'll learn more about that injury in a short while. But it looks like Felix Lee Mitchell advances to the semifinals, and he will face Ken Shamrock, who had a very tough bout against Christoph Leininger. So, I mean, the trauma is just tremendous. I can't remember another tournament where the outcome's been so in doubt, and people who talk about the Gracies having a lock on this need the pictures tell 1,000 words. Now let's recap right now what we've just seen. We saw 8 fighters, now we have 4 left. Yarborough and Hackney, now suddenly Hackney hurt. Mitchell advances. He'll face Ken Shamrock.
We see that a lot in big guys. They get hurt or whatever, but it's a shame that the guy's hurt, that Hackney's hurt, because you don't want to lose win the first round, not be able to advance. You're here to win this thing.
Yeah, Harold Howard will face Royce Gracie. Now, Harold Howard fears nothing. I mean, you saw him in the first bout. You saw the power he has in his hands. What Royce Gracie has left, Jim, I didn't see as he walked by. Did you see if he did, in fact, was he limping?
Royce is totally exhausted. He's somewhat hurt. What's going to happen is going to be very interesting from now on, because each one of these guys, they're really tough. And right now, I tell you, there's a question mark.
Yeah, there's definitely a question mark. Let's meet. Let's take a look and meet Felix Lee Mitchell, the last-minute alternate.
In Nashville, Tennessee, Felix Lee Mitchell works as a corrections officer for Tennessee's Riverbend Maximum Security Prison. It's no job for a lightweight. A first-level master in the art of Shaolin Gung Fu, Felix was the 1993 U.S. Wushu Gung Fu heavyweight champion. His 5'11", 220-pound frame was also put to use boxing for the United States Army team while he was stationed at Fort Campbell. Rapid punching combinations could make Felix a tough, long-range opponent.
Hello, martial arts fans. I'm Felix Lee Mitchell. I'm here at the UFC 3. Hopefully I get a chance to fight Royce Gracie and win the championship.
Here he is, Felix Lee Mitchell. He found out about 10 minutes ago he'd be fighting tonight.
Felix shook my hand earlier today and almost broke it, so I advised him to shake his opponent's hand so that his opponent wouldn't be able to hit him with the right hand.
28 years old, 5'11", 220 pounds, a great guy. I had a chance to meet him this week. Shaolin Gung Fu is his discipline, and he's going to need everything he can and more against Ken Shamrock, a master shoot fighter. So there's Felix Lee Mitchell, and he's wearing gloves. He's wearing gloves. That's something else to keep in mind. I don't know if they're working his mittens or if you can in fact see those fingers. That you can in fact see the fingers.
Well, you saw him hitting the heavy bag. You saw him boxing, so therefore he probably feels he's a good boxer.
Yeah, this will be for $15,000, Jim, and a berth in the finals. He'll be facing Ken Shamrock, who had a very tough bout, Christoph Leininger. And here is the man. He was in UFC 1. You know him from there, and you know him from victory before. Take a look at him. He makes his way through the smoke. shoot fighter Ken Shamrock. From Lockford, California, 30 years old.
Ken Shamrock, when I asked him earlier, you all heard him, he said he saved the choke for Hoist. He may get that chance. We'll see tonight here.
Little background on this guy. Of course, there'll be no kicks like before because he is wearing shoes.
I guarantee you a lot of fighters right now are pumped up because of that last match with Hoist. They got another little burst of energy, so Ken's one of them.
Yeah, Ken has changed his shorts. He's got an American flag on his yellow trunks, preparing to take Felix Lee Mitchell, who I think is electing to take off his gloves. He's electing to take off his gloves to take on Ken Shamrock. Let's go to a tail of the tape on these two great fighters. This will be for a berth in the finals. Ken Shamrock, Felix Mitchell. Age, you can throw it out. Height, you can throw it out. Weight, virtually even. One from Lockford, California, one from Nashville, Tennessee. Two very determined young men. Hey, they've been staying on the same floor in rooms right adjacent to each other all week.
I think experience, Jim, is the key here. Ring sense, ring time. Ken has that.
I think so. I think Ken is going to deal with this one a lot.
It's time to start the semifinals, and to do that, let's go for the introductions and go to none other than Octagon announcer Rich G-Man Goins.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our first semifinal. Please welcome our alternate for the first match, fighting out of the blue corner, a first-level master at Shaolin Kung Fu. He is a 1993 heavyweight champion of both the U.S. Wing Chun Kung Fu and the North American Chinese Martial Arts Federation tournaments. In the service, this 28-year-old, 5'11", 220-pound martial artist also represented the U.S. boxing team with a record of 3-1-1 from the country capital of the world, Nashville, Tennessee, Felix Lee Mitchell. And please welcome back his opponent, a first-round winner, a master at the deadly art of shoot fighting from Lockford, California, with a record of 45-5 out of the red corner, Ken Wayne Shamrock. Shamrock.
People here in Charlotte, these fighters, Jim, a man after your own heart, a corrections officer. You do so much work in the prisons. Here's a guy. He's got an art, he's got a discipline, and he's deciding to put it to work.
Brian, I don't think that's going to help him.
Yeah.
He's probably spending too much time guarding those inmates.
Hands up in the air. Shamrock, of course, probably looking to take him down. Ben maybe being a little presumptuous at that
I don't
point.
think Ken wants to go to the ground. He doesn't want to fight him. He doesn't want to get hurt or get hit or whatever. He wants to take him down and finish him off if he can.
He did take some punches to the head from Christoph Leininger, but he looks very fresh as anyone in the semifinals.
It takes a lot of energy to stay on your feet like that when a guy's trying to pull you down, actually, because the guy has his weight going for him when he locks up to you like this and tries to pull you down. He knows he doesn't want to go. Look at his hands. Ken will probably punch him.
Let's go, let's work.
Probably release this, go for a punch, try to take him down. He
In
sees that opening because he can move his head to the left and bring that right hand over. Here we go.
There's the upper body match. It's hard to imagine a man stronger than Ken Shamrock at this weight. Ken, by the way, was drafted by the San Diego Chargers. Decided, no, I'd rather get into some wrestling, earn my money a little bit harder.
Where he wants to be. He can go for the choke while he's standing right here. It's not what you want to do. He's got to pivot if he can. He's got to turn to his left to pivot out of this neck break.
Felix, the knee to the groin.
Yeah, if he can get his hand up on that arm like that, that's good. He pulled out.
Ken looks totally in control, feeling very confident right now. Elbow to the ribs.
Now, if Ken can get the other arm out, he'll go for the choke with that hand. He'll tie the hand up and go for it here.
Come on.
There you go.
Let's go.
Crowd starting to chant, Shamrock, Shamrock. So there are quite a few favorites here. With Rowan Payne, the local boy out of the competition, they've kind of adopted Mr. Shamrock.
It's very warm in here tonight, so the normal grabs on someone, they really don't work as quickly. And that tape really lets a person grab as hard as he can right there because it doesn't slip so far. So
there's no biting, there's no eye gouges. But if they're done, you're not disqualified. You're fined $1,000, and that goes to the man you did
right.
it to.
Per incident, $1,000 per incident.
Felix has withstood the storm, but he's standing up. We'll see if Ken feels he can do anything more standing up and tries to take him down.
I think Ken will crank this up now. I don't think he wants to do this all night.
I don't think he can crank it up. I think the stamina that he exuded last fight is telling right now.
Yeah. Looking at semifinal action, Ken Shamrock has won. He has beaten Christoph Leininger to get here. Felix Lee Mitchell, a last-minute substitution when winner Keith Hackney could not go on.
There's that right hand I was speaking of earlier, because Ken has his head just enough space in there. He can release really quickly, and because he has the left hand tied up with Felix, he can't block that hand.
Shamrock listening to the crowd saying, Shamrock, come on. But I'll tell you, Felix Lee Mitchell might have a strategy going here. Let's withstand the storm. Let's frustrate the experienced man.
You're going to try to wear him down as much as he can. This takes so much energy. People want to see action here. You hear the boos, but I'm telling you right now, this is survival. This is survival.
Any piece of clothing you wear can be used against you.
Yes, it
and
can.
you're seeing it right now by Felix's pants.
Ken is just exhausted. He must be after the first fight. That was a grueling fight, and took a lot of upper body strength, and that's really where he has it. And I think he's going to pull him out. Here we go. Now he'll probably trap a leg and try to take him down.
Backing up.
Now Ken can pivot to his right a bit. He'll stop those groin shots. He can deliver them, but he'll defend against them very easily. Those punches to the hip don't do anything.
The greatest enemy in any contest is fatigue. There's nothing you can do about it.
We watched it with Chemo. And there he goes, he's down. Ken has a series of submission holds. He's got ankle locks, he's got arm locks. Let's see if he can put any on.
Yes, it'll be very hard to get out of it. I think Ken's in good shape here. If he gets his hooks in, there are the hooks in there, this fight's over with. Come on out.
Ken Shamrock on top. Comes in 2-1, and it's tapped out. Felix Lee Mitchell is gone into the finals, as predicted by many. Ken Shamrock.
Ken won't interview. Ken won't interview.
And Ken does not want to talk into the finals. You hear Ben saying, and I'll tell you one thing. Check this out, Ben. We got an ankle problem, a very serious ankle problem, as his dad comes in the ring to put the robe on.
Unbelievable. These champions tonight are really showing what it's got, man. They're really being torn out.
They have to go to everything they have. This is unbelievable compared to the other two.
These guys around the world are getting ready for this stuff.
Everybody's getting prepared.
People are seeing it, and they are getting prepared accordingly. Felix Lee Mitchell, nothing to be ashamed of. Think about it, guys. He found out 10 minutes before the bout who he was fighting, and then he was fighting.
I said in UFC 2 that after Jim asked me, he said, how long would it take after 6 months or so can you become proficient at ground grappling or Gracie Jiu-Jitsu? And what I was saying, not against another Gracie, but absolutely against another martial artist who is not schooled in the ground. So
here's a Mr. Grappler now. He's more of a top-to-bottom fighter.
Once Ken gets his legs hooked, he's on his back now. Once he gets his feet hooked underneath the guy's legs, Felix, there's just no way. If Felix grabs one hand, Ken will shoot the other one in. Once he locks that hand behind the head, there is no escape, guys, once this reverse choke is locked into place.
With the ease in which he got him out to submit on the ground, you got to wonder, was Ken Shamrock trying for 10 minutes to get him down? Was Felix Lee Mitchell really keeping him at bay, or was Shamrock trying his hand at submitting him standing up?
I think Felix is stronger than we gave him credit.
Felix was strong.
Yeah.
A lot of upper body strength, a lot of determination. It was very difficult for Ken. I'm sure.
Unbelievable. Ken Shamrock did what he came here to do. He advanced to the finals like he talked about in UFC 2 when he was on the sidelines. Let's give you an updated look at the brackets now. Shamrock, as we just mentioned, goes to the finals, defeating Keith Lee Mitchell. And now we're looking at the other semifinal bracket, Harold Howard, Royce Gracie. Now, Harold Howard had a tough bout, yes, but it was about 5 minutes long. Royce Gracie had a marathon bout. As brutal as we've seen in UFC, I believe, and as brutal, a winner, actually. He is really beat up. He was limping when he left. He was bleeding when he left. He looked really hurt, and you talked about a neck injury.
I did. I think it's going to be a real true test of Royce's will this next fight. because I think the endurance is such a big factor in this. It went to the ground. They spent a lot of time there. It was just such unbelievable exertion of strength and power. Harold Howard did the same thing. He used a lot of punches. He's strong. He's a big guy. He's also been on the ground before. But I think Royce will muster whatever he can to protect himself, to probably slide out on either side, guys, and try to go for a choke.
I agree with you. Howard is an intense individual. He's a street fighter that has certain knowledge. He's also very strong. He has a positive attitude. And right now, I wish I could be in that dressing room to do an assessment of Royce, because when he left out of here, he was barely moving.
Here's another intangible quality. A lot of people believe Royce Gracie could not be beaten. A Gracie could not be beaten. That myth might be shattered right now.
No, it's already gone. I mean, with the first fight, I mean, this guy gave him everything that he wanted. Now he had very little left. So that myth is gone.
You're right. And the Gracies don't say that. They aren't saying that they're punch proof. They're just saying up till now in 65 years of competition, that has never happened. Tonight was a really good test. He took some really good shots, and it was just incredible. At Chemo, we thought he was dictating the fight, and you could tell that that was all willpower up to that point, because Chemo, all he could do was just enough energy to tap. I saw him tap. It didn't look like a real tap, but the ref was right there on top of it. He tapped about 2 or 3 times. Royce had everything he locked in.
There was no protest.
No, there was no protest there. That's true.
When he was grabbing the leg, when he grabbed Royce's gi, and you haven't studied this before, you're saying, okay, I think I see what's going to happen, but then he grabbed the leg, almost reading Royce's mind, saying this is a little thing like grabbing your gi prevented him from being submitted out.
Ben, you pointed out something very valuable. It's very hot in here, and it's very slippery. So it's very difficult to have your normal hold.
That's correct.
Those particular grips are not working the same way anymore.
That's absolutely right. Anything with friction at all, hair, which you saw, Chemo's hair, that's what Royce went to, because he couldn't get him in the arm. As soon as he grabbed him up tight, and as he grabs him above the elbow of the arm, he swings around to either go for a triangle or get his leg up over the head for leverage. And as soon as he did and try to straighten it, Chemo's arm was just wet enough to slide the hand down to the elbow. He could bend it a little bit, get out of that, go for a punch.
Now listen to this. We talked to Harold Howard before this fight. We said, hey, if you're going to meet Royce Gracie, how would you fight him? Here's what he said.
We should point out that Mr. Gracie is a master of jiu-jitsu on the ground. So me being a jiu-jitsu person, I can appreciate that more than the other competitors, because I am a grappler also. But I have, in the last few years, been creating a system of fighting that brings the karate aspect back into jiu-jitsu, which means that I'm working so that the person does not have to get to grapple you. So I'm looking forward to meeting Mr. Gracie on the mat, but I'm also looking forward to allowing myself to let my karate aspect of it take over too. So we'll see. And the best man will win, and that's all there is to it.
Everything else.
And here he is, making his way into the ring, Harold Howard.
He made a good point there. He says he's trained to keep from being grappled. Well, that's very hard to say against Royce Gracie, and no one's been able to do that, to be able to angularly, like the great champion Joe Louis would teach angular fighting. So that would come into play. If he can do that, let's see if he sidesteps or really goes back, draws Royce to the center of the ring to go back.
But then the biggest problem I think Royce had was a couple of punches got in against Chemo. Chemo got a couple of punches in there.
Yes, he did. He did. There was a lot of space there because Royce couldn't hold on to him. It was too wet to close that gap. It's really unbelievable. It's great to be here to see that happen tonight.
It really is.
Harold Howard focused. I'm surprised he didn't shave his head after he saw what Royce did to the ponytail.
Well, I know we'll really get ready for Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
December 16th.
December 16th.
That's right.
Harold Howard talks to the audience so people know what Harold can do. Shattered cement, took out their local man. They're willing to forget Roland Payne to get here. And he is preparing right now to meet this man, two-time UFC winner, Royce Gracie, 1-2. And Royce Gracie, should be the first shot we get of him, should be the most telling, because he left bloody, he left limping, he left hurt.
All the attention in the world right now is wanting to see what Royce looks like now coming out of here. I don't see a towel going in. Here he comes. Here he comes. I guarantee you, he's bringing everything he has with him right now. That was an unbelievable fight before.
There's the whole Gracie clan. Florian Gracie's son in the lead. He has a cut under the eye. Royce Gracie has a great family. Royce Gracie has a great tradition. Royce Gracie has a great legacy, but right now it is just Royce and only Royce.
You're seeing
Let's take a look at both men. The tail of the tape tells a lot. 27, 36, difference in age, but you look at the height, about even. 180, 230 pounds.
I've never seen Royce look like this. This is really incredible. You're seeing the spirit of a warrior here.
The crowd is electric. The crowd is electric, not cheering, not booing, just talking. There's a feeling in the air that something big could happen today. Harold Howard bouncing in the corner.
Harold is saying, let me see if I can take advantage of this right now. He's bouncing around. He looks fresh.
And you know Howard wanted Royce.
Yeah, he did.
He made that known at the press conference.
Wow.
All right, now it's time for the semifinal introductions. There's Rich
from
G-Man
Ontario,
going.
Canada, the Canadian World Heavyweight Jiu-Jitsu Champion and 3-time Canadian Heavyweight Karate Champion, 6'2", 230-pound Harold Howard. And his opponent, once again, the 2-time defending Ultimate Fighting Champion, 6'1", 176 pounds, a master of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Royce Gracie.
Royce is going to need the crowd. He's going to need his coaching. He's going to need everything he can. His shoulder's bothering him. Something
else going on. They're doing a lot of...
John McCarthy is making his way over to Harold Howard. He might have a shoulder problem, I believe. Royce, I think we could be looking at a disqualification.
They're taking a look.
The towel is in. Harold Howard has won. Royce Gracie is out of the competition.
Unbelievable.
That's all right. His injuries from the bout with chemo has eliminated Royce from the competition.
Unbelievable.
Into the finals goes Harold Howard.
Outrageous.
What a shocker. Well, it's
Harold
not
Howard.
a shocker right now because after the other fight with chemo, watching him go back to that room, you have to know.
You knew Royce was hurt.
Yes.
He could have a broken arm or a dislocated, whatever. I mean, he had a vicious cut there. We don't know yet, but I guarantee you, Royce was hurt big time for him not to be able to fight. It's just unbelievable, truly unbelievable.
First time ever. Royce has been eliminated from a UFC bout. We saw him blow through 4 bouts in UFC 2, 3 in UFC 1, and then John McCarthy knew something was up when he made his way into the ring. Chemo now hops into the ring to take credit for the victory, but he lost.
Wow.
Joe Son, his manager, and Chemo head into the ring.
We are seeing history in the making right now, folks.
I'll tell you, the jiu-jitsu world, the martial arts world is stunned.
Interrupt and ask you a question. If Royce had basically thrown the towel in the dressing room, wouldn't there be a substitute?
Yes. Jim, that is a very good point.
We're watching this unfold as we go.
Now, Jim brings up a very good point, and I wish we'd look into this before we have some controversy that we don't want a part of. The image of Royce Gracie looking down, takes a look at the crowd, realizes many people must be disappointed, but he's very disappointed himself. It looked like he was saying, Jim, I don't know if I could fight. Tell you, just the electricity in this arena here at the Grady Cole Center is incredible here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're seeing something right now that we didn't expect to see. One, we had an alternate in Steve Jenham, and we're wondering if he's going to get a chance to fight in this one, like Felix Lee Mitchell fought, because Felix Lee Mitchell had to substitute for Keith Hackney. Now we're going to look at Chemo. Chemo is a guy that everyone's going to be talking about for years to come. He came into the ring, he celebrated after he was already out. Now that's him on the apron of the ring.
Well, Chemo feels that he's the one that beat Royce because he was able to recuperate. He felt he could have fought. And he came in to say that to the people, so I know he's going to be ready for the next one.
You know what's interesting, Jim? In the martial arts community and in anyone who's become a UFC fan, and it has gotten a tremendous base of fans from people from the videos on, he's a legend. No one's going to forget Chemo and what he did, because not many people knew anything about him. I like to relay a conversation I relayed back to you. I went up to him at the press conference, and I went up to his manager, and I said, can you tell me about him? Is he happier on the ground? Is he looking to slug it out up top? Can't say anything. Can't say anything. You will see. You will see. I was told by people on the inside to expect a Charles Bronson type fight, not a guy looking to submit, a guy looking to beat his fighter into submission. So I looked at that as the perfect victim for Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. It certainly didn't turn out like that, but something to keep in mind. As hurt as Royce was, he still got him in an arm lock and got him to submit.
Well, that's all good, but when you're able to punch anybody, you can take away all of their skills. And this guy, Kimo, was able to punch Royce. Also, he had tremendous strength and a certain amount of knowledge, which did not allow Royce to do the normal things.
Protect their teeth is to protect the actual hand or the knuckles or skin from the person hitting them, because
a human bite can be more poisonous than an animal.
Ken Shamrock and Christoph Leininger. Shamrock on top here. Both said, hey, I'll grapple. You want to grapple? I'll go on the ground.
I thought this would be a really good fight, one of the best of the night. It ended up being, I think, Kimo and Royce, actually. But this fight went a long, long time. I think the leverage of the fence kept Mr. Leininger from being able to go anywhere, and Ken used that for his advantage. I asked him about the choke when he went to the back, and like I said earlier, it's just, he says, I'll save that for Royce. He won't need it tonight.
Now let's take a look at the third fight in the qualifying round.
That was a straight left hand, just a jab that I was surprised even scored. It took him back. But again, guys, we're not using gloves here, and these are real fights. If he had wrapped his legs around his waist there, I think he would have ended that fight right there.
The biggest news, it happened right here. We knew something would be different, Jim. You mentioned they bring a lot of props.
And they're still bringing them. And I don't know what to say about it.
This is Kimo.
This was the WWF segment of our evening tonight, it seems like. You know?
This is Joe Son, his manager, in front. This is Kimo making his way into the ring. I can't say that I knew about this. I was a little shocked, but he is a lay minister, and he does quote scripture every chance he gets.
He is everywhere, every person he speaks to, whenever he's sitting for any minute, he does it. And this is no prop so much as it is a real thing. He means it.
Suddenly we're about to start.
It's a grueling, grueling fight.
Couldn't get him down early. This was the scene, the most telling scene of the night.
Royce is hurt.
Well, I think we have one more telling scene. Ken Shamrock, I think, is out.
It looks like Ken Shamrock is indeed out of the competition. He cannot go on. We do not know what that injury is, but we do have two alternates at every UFC. The second one is Steve Jenham.
There are certain conditions in the UFC pertaining to alternates when they come into the ring and when they don't. Right now, we're going to see that. Ken Shamrock is out. Harold Howard is going to fight an alternate. We're getting that information now.
Now it's time to meet a man that is the second alternate. He's Steve Jenham. Let's take a look.
A uniformed officer with the Omaha, Nebraska Police Department, Steve Jenham is not your typical cop. He's a third-degree black belt in the art Toga Koreiru Ninjitsu. Don't count on seeing his 5'10" and 215-pound frame standing square in the octagon. His ninjitsu style relies heavily on combination striking, intricate takedowns, and joint manipulation.
Hi, I'm Steve Jenham, a police officer from Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm here to bust the Ultimate Fighting Champion.
Here he is, making his way through for the first time tonight, and in the finals, a shot at $60,000.
Saw him hitting the bag. He's got a great left hook, comes right out of the slot, up and over. So we're going to see what a fortunate night for him tonight, guys.
Well, I tell you, this is indicative of how great this event has become. These guys have to give up the chance at $60,000. You know doggone well, if they didn't put everything out there, they would not do that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We have yet to find out what the injury was to Ken Shamrock, but all we know is police officer Steve Jenham, Toga Koreiru Ninjitsu, and his art.
If he is hurt, you protect him. Got it?
Harold Howard is now, we understand, in the tunnel and about to make his way into the octagon.
I went back a few minutes ago to try to get an interview with him. He was so keyed up, he was yelling and screaming, jumping up and down his hands. He was ready to go. He wants this big time.
Harold Howard, a father of two. He has his own style. He went into the ring and he saw Royce Gracie have to throw in the towel. Couldn't continue.
History in the making, folks. We're used to seeing Royce come out with this entourage. What a night this is.
Harold Howard had fought one bout. He took the Royce Gracie, he had him matched up in the semifinals. Royce couldn't continue. Now he's in the final. I think to say he's keyed up, Jim, is an understatement.
It is an understatement. He's always been keyed up since he's been down here.
I worked on the Alaskan pipeline off and on for 8 years. There's a lot of tough Canadians out there. Here we go.
Let's go up to Rich Goins now, who's keeping things level-headed up in the octagon for the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, our finals of the Ultimate Fighting Championship Part 3 from Charlotte, North Carolina. Please welcome the competitors. Filling in for Ken Shamrock out of the blue corner, a third-degree black belt in the art of Toga Kore-Ru Ninjutsu. He's a uniformed police officer from Omaha, Nebraska. 5'10", 215 pounds, Steve Jenum. And his opponent back for the finals from Ontario, Canada. A black belt, a Canadian World Heavyweight Champion in Jiu-Jitsu, and 3-time Canadian Heavyweight Karate Champion. 6'2", 230 pound, Harold Howard.
He's been so focused for this fight since he got here. Nothing's changed. He looks just like this when he got here.
Are you ready? Referee John McCarthy says, let's get it underway.
Here we go.
A little bit of acrobatics. Lead right hand.
Straight right hand, that hurt. That hurt, Steve. Duck the punch, he's going for the ground. Hey.
That hand was enough for Jenum to know I got to get this guy in the ground.
Jenum took that shot. That was a big right hand.
That was a type of shot that put Roland Payne out of this competition.
Jenum should sweep him, yes, to take him down to break that hole. He should reach up and pull that hand down to pull that off his neck. He can do it.
The only way to end this.
Only way, he should get both his legs around his waist. This can go a while. If he can get his other leg, his right leg out. If Howell can get his right leg out and around his waist and put this pressure on it, this fight will be over.
You haven't seen him off his feet.
Yeah. Now Steve will try to get that right leg out of there.
Jenum kept his cool. Many people would not have kept his cool, and suddenly it's reversed.
Surprised he went that way. Good move.
Jenum's bleeding from that first punch.
Yeah, good. He hit him.
Jenum is one tough character. Look at this.
In years.
Jenum keeping a close eye on him.
Unbelievable. Alternate wins the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
An alternate win. Steve Jenum has won $60,000. He is the Ultimate Fighting Champion. It's the first time in 3 UFC bouts that we have an alternate win it all. He is ecstatic, and Jim, what guts it took after he took that blow to keep his cool.
Walk around there, Jenum.
The Nebraska policeman is the UFC champion. He's the creative and innovative martial arts strategy. It's a combat system. He did it himself. And look at the respect between the two fighters. Harold Howard embraces him.
Good job. You're a tough man.
Ben Perry is working his way up into the crowd.
Turn it around,
to
turn it
present the
around,
check.
turn it around. Shake his hand, good job. Outstanding job.
I'll tell you something, Brian. When we see him again, he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, he's going to be a marked
He should
man.
enjoy this.
Yeah. What can you say about Steve Jenum? When he took that right hand, a lesser man might have said, hey, Kay, that's not enough. Steve Jenum was actually leaving the ring. Jimmy was leaving the ring without getting his money.
That's intensity. And you carried it all the way through the end of the fight.
Well, I told you if it worked, it worked. And it didn't, I didn't. So in the end, it didn't. I love your children. I love your wife, and I believe it or not, I love my family too.
It's unbelievable. Just a true champion. It's just super. It's a great fight. It's a really good fight.
Ben Perry talks to Harold Howard. Now Ben goes up into the octagon, and Steve Jenum doesn't know what hit him. His whole entourage is hugging each other. They don't know what's happened.
Well, that's $60,000 for one fight. Less than a minute, probably.
This is history in the making tonight. Unbelievable
Hoist
what happened
Gracie
to you.
in
First
UFC
time in the history of the Octagon has this ever happened. The alternate comes in and wins $60,000. How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel fantastic.
Did you think you would even get in this tonight?
Well, I was touch and go there for a little while, and then something happened to Mr. Shamrock, and got the go, and I was ready.
What a great break to come in fresh to do this. It's the way it's established. It's unbelievable. You're a true champion. You earned this thing. You came in and you did it. You fought a really, really tough Harold Howard. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was tough. That was really something else.
This is incredible. Brian?
Look at Steve Jenham.
Yes, sir.
His significant other is a little shocked. She's crying. Can't believe it happened. Kept in the wings. 5'10", 215 pounds. Jim, I don't know what would be an accurate statement to wrap this up. We can't possibly recap what we've seen tonight. All we can say is I can't wait for UFC 4 December.
Oh, we have seen great, great fights tonight, and then Tulsa will be unbelievable.
On behalf of WOW, on behalf of Semaphore, on behalf of Ben Perry, Jim Brown, I'm Brian Kilmeade. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been UFC 3. Thanks for joining us. Until the next time.
Adios.